Hi everyone, just waiting for it to let me load. For those watching the recording, thank you for your patience. All right. Hi everyone, Therese here with another Karma Cards this week, and I wanted to talk to you about one of the astrological placements that's happening right now. I touched on this at the last full moon spirit circle, but because we are still under this influence, this particular astrological influence, I wanted to talk with you about it again because it's pretty significant for the year 2020. Hey Luann, good to see you. I'm calling it the golden opportunity. And we don't, where do I want to start with this? So this particular astrological placement is between Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's considered the good luck planet, and it talks about prosperity and abundance and things getting better, opportunity. It's one of the benefic planets. And right now it's sextiling with Neptune. Now Neptune is the planet of spirituality. This is where we start to feel deep spiritual inklings. There's a lot of mysticism connected to Neptune. Dreams, like being able to interpret dreams or understand the dreams. Subconscious mind is connected to Neptune. And right now, the golden opportunity placement that's happening, hey Caitlin, is the fact that Jupiter is sextiling with Neptune. And this is a very positive placement. This means that they are working in conjunction with each other. They're getting along. And why this is a golden opportunity is because we actually haven't seen this astrological placement since 2011. So that's a full 9 years ago. So I want you to just take a moment and think back to 2011. Were there any positive, fortuitous events that felt like soul turning points that happened for you in 2011? You can type in the chat and let me know, or you can just give me a thumbs up and that lets me know too. So the question again, hey everyone coming in, the question again is, in 2011, did you experience any events that felt fortuitous and had a deep soul connection? Like you felt like this was either soul purpose related, dreams coming to true, all that stuff. Okay, so this placement hasn't happened since 2011. In 2020, and it only happened once, by the way. This is Jupiter sextiling with Neptune. In 2020, it's going to happen not once, not twice, but 3 times. And we are currently under this influence now. How cool is that? And it's a little different, right? Every time it's not the same type of influence. This time it's going to be have a slightly different effect on your life. And I see some people going, no, this wasn't fortuitous. Spiritual growth, though, doesn't always look like something beautiful and exciting. Sometimes expansion happens in our lives by something constricting or ending, which is what a few people are saying. And I actually, in my own life, in 2011, I didn't experience that. I actually had a couple things happen where I didn't see it coming, and I had opportunities handed to me that I didn't expect. But the cards actually, it's funny that you all mention this because the cards are talking about that right now. Something has to end for something new to begin. And sometimes things ending or things that feel like they're falling apart are catalysts for something new to grow, right? So we want to think about the caterpillar when it goes into the cocoon. When the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it doesn't just like unfurl beautiful wings. It turns into a hot mess, literally, inside the cocoon, right? It turns into a pile of goop and is reconstructed into the butterfly. So sometimes to get the catalyst to move forward, for the soul to advance, what is happening has to be completely deconstructed. And that's where you've got like influences that like Saturn's influence definitely talks about constriction. So What we're looking at here, though, is the Jupiter sextile Neptune. So this is expansion connected to deep spirituality. And it happened last time in 2011. Jupiter was in a different placement and Neptune was in a different placement. So this time, let's look at where they are. Jupiter has just moved into Capricorn this year. So we've got, Jupiter is connected to Sagittarius. That's its natural, that's the sign it naturally rules, which is all about mental expansion. When we've got Jupiter in Capricorn, suddenly we've got an intense earthy energy. And it's actually, we want to look at what Capricorn is ruling over. So obviously there's maturity is one of the areas that we expand in. So as we mature, we expand. Okay? The other areas we want to look at is outward expression, which is another thing that Capricorn focuses on, is the external, how we give out to the world. So anywhere you're giving out starts to expand. And generally this is kind of connected to career, right? That's usually where we are giving out. But really external expression is the key word there. Then we have Neptune, and this time Neptune is in Pisces. Now this is the sign that Neptune rules, which means deep psychic intuition. And when I'm saying psychic, I'm not necessarily saying prophetic, although that's one of the forms it can take. It just means that right now there is deep attunement to the inner conversation that's going on for you. So understanding the inner prompts, hearing your internal guidance, hearing your higher self, hearing the alignment, like the actions you already know. This is such a time where people are not in a place of going, I just don't know. Everybody knows. Everybody knows what they need to do. They're either following the prompt or they're ignoring it, but they already know. I haven't had one client say to me, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. They all know. They usually don't know what action to take. And that's generally when they're in resistance to what they're getting. So what I'm seeing more and more in people now isn't, I don't know what to do or I don't know what the answer is. It's, can I get a better answer? That's where people are at. They know what they need to do. And I do the same thing too, trust me. There are a few days where I've pulled cards for myself and I'm like, can we get something else? Because this doesn't sound fun, but that's the energy that they want. So if you are getting messages to let go or to surrender or to expand yourself in some way, and you're not liking it and you're waiting for another answer, I am very sorry to tell you, we're probably not going to get it until we do those things. So that's another thing I've had a lot of people say to me, is the answers are on repeat right now. It's like, just do what you're being prompted to do. Amen. Right? Okay, so let's look at what this placement means. So it's happening 3 times this year, and both planets are going to be at these placements. They're going to be at different degrees, and that affects the intensity of either the outward expression or the spiritual aspect of this placement. But they're going to be together again 2 more times, and we're under this golden opportunity now. So what's happening right now is, this actually is a dreams coming true kind of scenario, which is why I'm saying it's a golden opportunity. And what I mean by dreams coming true is we're looking at the external expression. That's what we feel is our dream coming true. Because what is a dream? A dream is an internal expression. It's a non-physical energy, and it's always with you, right? You can go into your non-physical realm and experience your dream at any given moment. When we feel like our dreams have come true, they have externally expressed or they've externally manifested. This is that opportunity. And one of the ways that we can access this energy, and again, we're in it right now, so you can take full advantage of it, is that we want to look at what we are giving out. What are you giving out to the world? Again, if you are career focused or if you're on a career trajectory, you can look at that, but you don't have to have a career or feel like you're career focused to experience this. You're always giving something to the world externally. So look at that. What is that thing? And if you can connect to that, just that awareness of what am I giving to the world right now at any given time, right? When we get that, we get tapped right in to our spiritual growth expansion moment. You'll get like a download literally right now of information on how to expand that. And it can come in so many forms that it's like whatever you get is legitimate, right? There's not like 5 things you could do. There's a limitless amount of information you could get on how to expand. And understand that this placement is connected to your spiritual ascension. So again, you've heard me use the term ascension. You've heard me talk about it. It's being talked about all the time. And I actually want to take a little digression really quick because somebody asked me this. A student of mine asked me this. And I wanted to address it because I think it's a fear a lot of people feel from time to time. And I want to address that. So her fear was she knows about ascension, and she's hearing things about how we're leveling up, the waves of energy coming in. She hears other people talking about it, and they're talking about just how great and blissed out they feel. And what I want you to understand is that if you're not feeling that, it doesn't mean you missed the boat. So her fear was, I don't feel that. In fact, I feel awful. I feel depressed. I feel like I'm struggling with some things, like I see myself more clearly, but I can't seem to heal it fast enough, or as soon as I heal something else comes up right behind it. And the fear was that if that's happening, then I must have somehow missed this wave of ascension, right? That I didn't get it. Does anybody else feel like that? Like, go ahead and put your hands up. I have felt that too. Of course, I think that everybody does feel it. And here's the thing is we're not all doing it at the same time. And that doesn't mean you're not, that we're not on the same page, but we're not feeling that energy at the same time. We have personal stuff that we're working with. We have our own alignments that we're dealing with. But here's the thing. You wouldn't even be aware of ascension if you weren't ascending. Okay, that's kind of how it works. There is no punishment. Like, look, everybody else is going through ascension and you missed it. Ha ha ha. Right? That doesn't happen. People who aren't aware of ascension, they don't even care. Like, they hear this and they're like, woo, like that's what their reaction is. They don't care. The people who aren't riding this current wave, they'll ride a different one. And maybe not in this lifetime. Maybe they'll go in another lifetime. They're okay, right? They're emotionally taken care of. The world is right with them. There is no pain or fear or loss. And people who are experiencing right now, who are aware of it, who desire it, are in it. So I feel like if you're listening to this, if you're called to listen to it, and or other things that talk about spiritual ascension, baby, you're already in the boat. You're already riding the wave. It has ups and it has downs. So if you're seeing people who are talking about this, I just feel love and bliss and oneness and connection, that's great, but that's not all that spirituality is. It is only a part of it. It is all encompassing, right? And you can't stay in a high and be physically manifested. That's ascending out of the body. And right now we're in a time where we are practicing ascension in the body, which means that every single time we go through it, we regulate. So if we get more energy upgrades, right? So let's say we're getting these all the time, by the way. You're getting these downloads or these upgrades of information that you're feeling all the time. But it has to assimilate through a body that's transitioning. Your body is transitioning. Genetically, it's transitioning. New strands of DNA are activating and awakening. They've always been there. They've been dormant. And here's what we're going to hear and see as this happens, is science is so suddenly going to validate these things as if they're new finds or recent discoveries, or they now have the mechanics or the understanding of what's going on. We're going to see the correlation between the spiritual expansion and this DNA activation and the awareness of it in science, we'll see them mirroring each other, and you should know that you're already experiencing it. But it does cause us to feel yay and then fall apart because something dies. Something has to die. Some old belief system has to be let go of. Some old way of operating. Like, you're going to have to adjust. Things are going to have to regulate, right? We are moving from one way of being into a new way of being. And so we are doing a transition and an adjustment. And just like any kind of growth cycle, it is messy. I mean, if you look at the teenage years, right, which is one of the biggest transitions humans go into, we've got the child transitioning to the adult, and it is called the awkward stage. Why? And it's painful, right? We can all, if you give me the amen, if you get that, right? The teenage years, awkward and painful. Those are the two words that best describe it. I mean, there's some good stuff in there too, but right? It's that transition. There's a lot going on. There's an old system letting go and a new system coming online. And then there's the mental kind of coming together of one thought process and a new thought process. Right? So what I want people to know is that if you have a fear of you're somehow missing the bliss or missing the spiritual elevation, you're not. I want to put that out there just to kind of calm the fear, because it's all good. Everything you're going through, you're in the boat. We see you. If you're seeing this and it resonates, you totally are there. So you can let go of that and just deal with all the transitional stuff that comes forward right now. Okay. So again, Jupiter, sextile, Neptune, okay? Golden opportunity. But wait, there's more. So the karma cards have something to say about this. The karma cards have something to say about how to use this energy. And I want to read that for you because we're currently, we have to look at the fact that we're also in a waning moon cycle. When we're in the waning moon, it's not about grab all the opportunities and see it expand. It's almost like you grab the opportunities and things have to make room. It's like you have to clear the closet, right? You have to declutter something. You have to let go of something, even if it's just letting go of fear, in order to have this golden opportunity. So the action feels almost like an antithesis for you. You're getting an opportunity, but it's almost like you have to let go of what's in your hand to grab it, right? So let's look at the karma cards and see what they have to say about this. Okay. I get so excited when I talk, and there's so many comments and I want to read them all. So I'm going to have to read these after I do the karma cards so I can get this out there for you. So for those who are new to karma cards, let's talk about it really quick. There are 3 decks, the planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already gotten answers. I have action answers in red and outcome answers in blue. And the way that you play is you simply tune into what you need right now, what you're needing. So if you need action, type in red for action. And if you need outcomes, like how is this all going to wrap up, type in blue for outcomes. And then if you want both, if you want to take the action and see how that turns out, you can type in both or purple. I'm asking the team what this card period is referring to, and it's saying till Saturday. So it's from today, the moment of this recording, to Saturday that these cards are referring to, the actions and outcomes. Okay, so it's that window right there. What is today? Wednesday. So the next three and a half days, right? Okay, so while you're figuring out whether you want action, outcome, or both, I'll tell you the flavor of this reading so you kind of get an idea. We've got Saturn. And again, remember I said, so Jupiter is expansion, Saturn is restriction. Take it away, right? In Aquarius. The sun is still in Aquarius right now, but Aquarius is one of the air signs, and it's about the higher mental processing. So this definitely has to do with something in the mind. in the 12th house. Now the 12th house is a tricky house. It's all about the subconscious mind. It's about letting go. It's about endings. So we've got two cards here, Saturn and the 12th house, which are referring to endings. But the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. So there's a deep spiritual connection. Hey, Simone, good to see you. So there is a spiritual aspect to this. And it is usually like when we're looking at the 12th house, we're looking at hidden fears, like the things we're even afraid to look at. So that's kind of the area that they are leaning to. So again, red for action, blue for outcome, or you can type in both. So here we go. Here we go. If you typed in red or action, your spiritual action at this time is to be realistic about your vision, seeking oneness with all there is. Be realistic about your vision, seeking oneness with all there is. Okay, so to break that down, right, the seeking oneness with all there is directly related to this golden opportunity, right? The spiritual connection to it. Be realistic about your vision is, again, kind of goes back to that first question I asked everyone was, how was 2011 for you? And some people, their response to it was like, not great. Again, we have to look at what it is we're calling in. The opportunity is there. That's the positive. Sometimes to get it, we have to get realistic. Either we have to let go of something that's not realistic, meaning like maybe a timeline. Maybe we're expecting it by the end of the year, and we have to let that part go. Or we're expecting to get it without having to experience pain. Like we should just feel like lucky, like we've won the lottery. Hold in your mind that there's probably some kind of energetic exchange that's going to be required, right? So to open your hand and let whatever you're holding on to out so that you can receive. Okay, your mental action at this time is be concerned about what is new and different about philanthropy. And this is Saturn talking when it says be concerned about what is new and different about philanthropy, right? Philanthropy being how we give back to others. And the only concern that's coming up for me psychically when I read into this is just be careful of transactional giving. And now all that means is like, I'm doing this to get something, right? Like we really have to practice giving without the expectation of return. Sounds easy, and we probably think we're already doing it, and I'm sure there are times that we do, but we've got to like watch ourselves. Transactional thinking, it's a tricky one. We are taught to be transactional, right? And if you look at social media with when you get a like, that's a transaction. I posted this, you liked it. That's a form of transaction, and we get really excited about transactional stuff, and that's okay. But when it comes to philanthropy, giving and expecting something back, either attention, right? Like, look what I did. Or from the universe. That's another one that we do. That's probably the one they're touching on. Sometimes we don't expect things from other people. We expect it from the universe. Like, I've been such a good kid. Cookie, please, right? Look at me being such a good spiritual person, loving on people. Cookie, please, protect me from the storm. Give me the dreams, all the stuff I want. We've got to just watch that, right? It's not always bad. And I've been watching myself, and I see where I do it. And I've been trying to really just stay conscious of it. It's not even a point right now where I'm forcing myself to change, but I am watching that. I'm going, am I trying to earn something from, even if it's from the celestial parents, right? What's the motivation here? And we're looking for that pure motivation. If no one knows that you did something beautiful or good, does that mean it wasn't beautiful and good? If you do it without expecting the direct return from source, right? The protection or the granting of a wish. If you just do it to put the energy out there, what's that feeling like? Okay, so what I feel like it's asking is to have that awareness, be concerned about philanthropy, look how it's being used, observe it, right, without judgment if you can, and have forgiveness when you find the transactional behavior. You know, trust that transactional behavior isn't something that's so evident, not even to the person doing it. We're trained to put things out and get something back. But it is a very different energy to just put it out. So let's practice that. The physical action at this time. You must wait before you can use an unconventional way and keep your involvement hidden. Hi! Hi, Deanna. Good to see you here. Let me say that one again. That was really odd, but it's kind of going along with the last one. So it says, you must wait before you can use an unconventional way and keep your involvement hidden. So the keep your involvement hidden is the same thing regarding the philanthropy for without transactional behavior, right? So keep your involvement hidden means that you're doing the kindness, the love that you share, you're doing it without expecting anything back, even from the universe. And it says it's not time to do that yet. It's time to contemplate that. So when we get that energy, that card of you must wait before you can, that's asking you to contemplate. It's not a time of do that right now. It's think about what that means. It's a different way of thinking about it. It's lighting up new parts of your brain, but it's directly related to soul expansion. Now that's the hard thing is, can you separate this new way of giving or the purest way of giving from that awareness that somehow I grow from this, right? Because that's another form of transactional behavior. It's tricky. They're not expecting us to like get this. They're expecting us to go, you know, like that's the period we're in. So your action is to go, that's what it looks like. Okay. Sounds like a relationship I'm in. Yeah, this is not easy. Look, this is advanced stuff that they ask from us. This is that ascension level, next level stuff that they're asking us to think about. It's like giving. Awesome. Now let's see how you can do it differently. Challenge. So they're throwing down that gauntlet there with love, of course. All right. The outcomes at this time for Saturn in Aquarius in the 12th house. The spiritual outcome at this time is the maturity that brings genius to experiment with your faith. So this contemplation period, especially if you follow the actions, the spiritual outcome is a sense of maturity, right? That's the first gift, is just a leveling up and an awareness and a new form of genius coming forward. A new way of seeing the world that is yet to be seen. The mental action at this time, caution regarding the discoveries of hidden tendencies. So they do not want you to punish yourself. This is very clear that this, whatever we find out about motivation, like even when we think our motivation is pure and we find another way that we are trying to get something, like I'll be good if I get what I want, right? If we find that, please, please, please have love, compassion, and forgiveness. You didn't know until this moment. There is nothing to punish. There is nothing to reprimand yourself for or belittle yourself for. All is good. All is well, right? You didn't know what you didn't know. There is nothing that you need to go back and atone for. When we learn a new way of being, that's where the responsibility starts. As soon as you're aware of it, that's it. And until then, you're an innocent. The physical action at this, or physical outcome rather, at this time, limits imposed resulting from the eccentricity of large institutions or overwhelming events. Okay, physical outcome, limits imposed. again, what they're saying about this with the physical aspect is you're not going to see it and it won't be encouraged. And especially when you look at it from the institutional standpoint, transactional behavior is very much wanted and required. If you were to stop thinking that way about what can I get for what I give, then you start looking at the world differently, right? That's not something that's necessarily, we're not rewarded for that yet. And to look at things where I'm just doing this for the sake of doing it without expecting anything from anyone in return, that doesn't exist. It does exist, but it doesn't exist in a corporate, right, capitalistic environment. That's something else completely, and it's not, it's considered to be off, weird. People will be suspicious. This is another thing. So if you're trying to do this in a way for someone, you could get feedback from someone like, what do you want from me? It makes people uncomfortable, right? Because we're used to transactional behavior. We're used to feeling like we're in debt to somebody. And so when that debt is being told to us that we have no debt, most people's response to that is, what do you really want from me? And it makes people very uncomfortable. It's not going to be like readily accepted. So the shortening of that, Luann, is the physical action is limits imposed resulting from the eccentricity of large institutions or overwhelming events. And that just means that what it's saying is this way of thinking is not widely accepted. I guess that's the shorter way of saying it. This way of thinking is not widely accepted. And it's not appreciated. Okay, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It's not accepted or appreciated. So trying to come from a purely philanthropic place without expecting change of some sort or a return is not really widely accepted or appreciated. It causes people to feel nervous and suspicious because the general experience is, now you do something for me, right? I did this for you. Now you do something for me. And I'm waiting for that. And they're waiting for that. So as soon as you do that for someone else, and then you're like, nope, I need nothing from you. Most people, unless they're like onto this and you're very upfront with, this is what I'm trying to do, most people will be like sweating bullets a little bit, like I gotta right this balance. They'll feel the imbalance in some way. And that is not to say that if someone does something nice for you in return that we need to reject it or be like, no, I'm doing this without expectation of return. The only thing we're letting go is the expectation that there is a return. So if you get the return, appreciate it, right? Be grateful, be in gratitude. The idea here is to let go of that expectation that somebody or something is watching me or validating me, which can be difficult. Validation is something that all of us seek. And they're simply asking us to be coming from that place where we already kind of, hold on, I'm listening. We already, at some level, we're already getting exactly what we want. So we're trying to come to this from this place of, it's already here. Everything I'm hoping to get, I already have it now. So I don't have to do anything to get it. So therefore, if I already have everything I desire and I don't have to do anything, then this action is attached to nothing. It is simply an expression. So the giving is simply an expression that is attached to no thing. Because we already are coming from a heart awareness that everything I could possibly want, I already have. And it's a higher state of being, because the reality is that you kind of risk with that, right? You risk that if you're not asking for anything, you might not get anything. But the universe has a funny way of working. And the minute that you let it go, guess what shows up? The trick is if you're going, okay, if I just give and I let go, it'll show up. That's even a level of awareness of, I'm going to get something back. So we really have to practice that place, that very special, higher resonance place of it's all good. It's so good. There is nothing to do. And then from that moment, we give. Okay? So let's practice it. That's all we're being asked to do right now, is to contemplate that. And that's the golden opportunity window we're in. There's really nothing to do yet. In fact, they said until you kind of sit with this concept, trying to do it is going to bring probably more disappointment or pain than just allowing yourself to sit with it. So give in the way that you want to give right now. But when you go into that meditation place, try to feel and find that place of it's all here. I have it all. There's nothing I have to do. I could sit here and do nothing, and more comes to me. And see what that place is. And soon they'll be asking us to move into an action around it. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that, I know these concepts, it's hard to tell. When I'm doing this live, it's like hard to think and listen to everything that's happening and read everything that's happening. So I'm going to sit with it myself, but I hope that it made sense for you. Oh, Caitlin, I'm here energetically for you, girl. I hope that made sense for you. If it doesn't, or if you're like, what? Message me. You could private message me on Facebook. I'm in Messenger. So I'm happy to answer questions to the best of my ability. In the meantime, I will be practicing with you. I hope that you have a beautiful week. I hope you feel all the goodness that's coming through right now, and know that you are deeply loved and appreciated. Until next time, stay magical.